everyone. Welcome to the Tennis Files podcast. I'm your host, mehrban, and this podcast is dedicated to helping you improve your tennis game. A little bit of a different setup today if you're watching on video with my iPad, but got to make the content happen. So on today's episode, I want to take you behind the scenes of a dramatic, emotional, and unforgettable weekend at 9-0 Mixed Doubles Sectionals. We were 1 point away from the finals. 1 point. But let's rewind to the beginning. So a few weeks ago, my team and I had clinched the Montgomery County 9-0 Mixed Doubles League title by the narrowest of margins. It came down to the final match of the season, and we edged out the other top team 2-1 in that last match. And that win booked our spot at sectionals. And for sectionals, our captain Laura assembled a team of 4 talented 4-0 ladies and 4 strong 5-0 men, including myself. My girlfriend Kate was also on the roster, but in a little twist, she ended up joining the DC team. At the time, the DC team was struggling to field enough players, and Kate was guaranteed to play all the matches with them, so it made sense for her to join them. Of course, that meant we'd be competing on separate teams, which added a little extra intrigue. Don't worry, we're still together. But as far as the sectionals format and the flights, so this event took place in Midlothian, Virginia, which is close to Richmond, Virginia. And it was at the Woodlake Swim and Racket Club. Big shout out to the Woodlake maintenance staff and the tournament director, Sonia, by the way, for finding my tennis shoes, socks, and calf sleeves after I left them overnight on Friday. That was a minor panic moment, but they saved me, so big up. Our Montgomery County team was in Flight B with 4 teams, and that was, of course, Montgomery, which is us, and then one of the Richmond teams, Anne Arundel, and Charlottesville, Virginia. And then Flight A had 5 teams, which was Northern Virginia, Shenandoah, Howard, Kate's team, DC, and the other Richmond team. So match 1 was versus Charlotte for us Saturday at 9 a.m. And before our match, I got to watch Kate and her partner Udav pull off an amazing win over Northern Virginia, who were the eventual finalists. It was a great match, although unfortunately her team lost 1-2 after some close battles, including an 8-10 third setter on one of the other courts. Then it was our turn. So I partnered with Caitlin, who's been my go-to partner for years now. We've never lost a match together. I think in the 3+ years we played together, and she's an amazing 4-0 player and incredibly clutch. So we played D1 against Charlottesville, and our opponents were a rock-solid 5-0 lady with clean ground strokes and a veteran 4-0 lefty guy with great hands at the net. They complemented each other very well. So as usual, I played the deuce side and Caitlin took the ad side. We've always done that since my forehand and her backhand are our strengths. So we both held serve early, but then after 1-1, we got broken and found ourselves eventually down 4-5 with Charlottesville serving for the set. And I kid you not, I thought about the Rafa Nadal footprint engraving at Roland Garros to draw some inspiration for a comeback, just like Alcaraz did when he was losing to Jannik Sinner in the final. And it worked. We broke back. Caitlin held her serve, and then we broke again. And that was a set, 7-5. Funny enough, later Caitlin's dad came up to me and said, "I bet you thought of that Rafa engraving when you were down in the first set." And then I just smiled and said, "Exactly." So we rode that momentum into the second set and won it 6-3. Played pretty well, played solid, did what we had to do. And then our other 2 lines also won in straight sets. So a clean 3-0 sweep to start the weekend was excellent. So next up that same day was Anne Arundel, Saturday at 1 p.m. And I teamed up with Caitlin again, and we faced 2 good friends of ours, Leia and Leonard. We've played them multiple times, so it felt like a friendly battle, but it was competitive nonetheless. We started on fire, winning the first 5 games and taking the first set 6-1. It was blazing hot and sunny out there on my side serving, as well as Leonard's side serving, so I had to make some adjustments, tossing lower and speeding up my service motion because of the lower toss to avoid the sun in my eyes. I also avoided hitting too many flat first serves to keep my serve percentage high, especially on the clay. You don't really need to, hit huge first serves, although it can help, but you don't need to. And Leonard also did the same, which made it easier to return for me. We won that set 6-1, but then in the second set, momentum shifted. The Anne Arundel team actually broke me right away in the first game and kept the momentum going and then took the set 6-2. big credit to them. They fought back hard that set. We even joked that the momentum shifts occurred when they won their first game at 0-5 in the first set, and then Leonard said loudly, "No one beats us 6-0." And then they went on to tear shortly after. So the match came down to a third set tiebreaker. At 3-all, Caitlin and I dug in and pulled away, winning at 10-4. Just played really solid, hit some big shots, and did well there. So another battle, but another win. And even more impressively, all three courts for that match went to third sets, including my buddy Byron, who's on the Anne Arundel team. And our team came out on top in all of them, so great grit across the board. If you're looking for a high-quality, durable, and sleek tennis bag, you've got to check out Go Sport. They're an independent, family-owned company that stands behind their products, and you can tell by the premium materials they use, YKK zippers, rugged fabrics, and the same high-end materials found in premium outdoor pack brands. I've been using the Axiom backpack for travel and tennis for several years now, and it's been a game changer. It easily fits 2 rackets, a laptop, extra clothes, a towel, tennis balls, and even a book. Plus, the modular dividers and multiple pockets keep everything organized, like my keys, cell phone, and mobile charger, and there's a mesh pocket for wet gear. Whether I'm on a flight or heading to the courts, this bag delivers. Check them out at gosport.com and upgrade your tennis gear today. Plus, get 10% off using my code TennisFiles10. That's GEAUSPORT.com. After that, we have match 3 against Richmond on Sunday morning. So this was the big match. For this match, I sat out and Bartol played instead. We had planned for Bartol to play that one before heading off on an international trip, with me available for the final if we made it. So Austin and Caitlin played, and they stepped up and won their D1 match in straight sets, 1 break each set, I believe, which was a huge win for us. Great start. Then our D3 team, Jillian and Bartol, played an absolute nail-biter, but they lost 7-6, 6-4 to a former 5-0 lady who got bumped down to 4-5, and a strong 4-5 guy as well. So then it all came down to D2, which was Manu and Kanika. So they lost the first set, but they responded amazingly, taking the second set 6-3. And then in the tiebreaker, the super tiebreaker up to 10, they stormed ahead to 9-5, 1 point away. But as you could probably tell from my tone and the title of this podcast episode, it didn't work out. So Richmond wouldn't quit. They fought off match point after match point and ultimately won the tiebreaker 11-9. I can remember, one a really great shot overhead. I think it might have been at maybe 6-9 or 7-9. Diego serving where he hit a really good slice overhead. Diego was the 5-0 guy opponent and slice overhead winner from the baseline, and he was everywhere getting everything. And this partner was also super consistent. They didn't make any mistakes at the end, and ultimately we lost the breaker 11-9. It was tough. It was real tough. What made it harder was knowing that Richmond went on to beat Northern Virginia in the final, and it made us feel like that should have been us, where we had the team to go all the way to nationals. But that's tennis, that's sport, and sometimes it can break your heart. I definitely was not a great mood, that same day, and we ended up leaving, even though we had the hotel room up until Sunday morning. We just decided to leave so that we could wake up in our own bed and do our thing on Sunday, Kate and I. And Kate did well. Kate ended up going 3-1 overall, including a default win because Shenandoah didn't bring all their players for that one. DC team went 2-2. And what ended up happening in the final was that Richmond, they won 2 matches. I believe D2 and D3. And then they lost D1. My friends Matt and Aaron won their last match, which was good to see for them. So yeah, the aftermath, like I said, we were gutted. Everyone gave it their all, but coming so close and falling short definitely stung. We regrouped later on and grabbed lunch, and then I got to watch Kate win her last match. Her team, like I mentioned, finished 2-2, and she did very well. But back at the hotel, I just couldn't stop thinking about the tiebreaker, replaying the end over and over in my head, and I wasn't in in a good place mentally. So I just, yeah, it's tough. The next morning, Kate and I were following the scores and just kept thinking, what if? But you know what? What helped me finally feel better was sending a message to my buddy Logan from the Richmond team. I congratulated him and he responded with a really nice note. And that moment of sportsmanship helped shift my mood and perspective. It was really amazing how much better I felt after I congratulated Logan. It was like some sort of release, in my mind to just, be happy for them and to move on and hopefully try to get back there and win it next time. So moving forward, now it's back to training. I'm ready for ahead to tri-level sectionals. I'm on a super tri-level team, so it's a 4-0, 4-5, 5-0 team, and we just barely made sectionals, just like for 9-0. Barely made it by winning the league 2-1 in the last match of the season, and gonna work hard to elevate my game, keep taking lessons, keep working on the serve, the volleys, everything. And while the pain still lingers a little bit, the fire burns even brighter now. So I mean, the positives are that my serve and volleys were much improved this tournament thanks to my last lesson with Hyon and a lot of practice. And yeah, like I said, going to keep trying to level up my game. So hope you enjoyed that recap and got something out of there. That it's tough to lose, but you just have to reframe and take the positives and use that as fuel to train even harder so you can get back to that opportunity next time and do well. So really do appreciate you tuning into the podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, I'd really appreciate it if you would leave a review at tennisfiles.com/podcast. It keeps, actually, tennisfiles.com/Apple Podcasts would be the best place. It helps more people find the show and keeps the community growing. And yeah, so I also just want to leave you with a quote, as I often like to do at the end of each show. And this one is by Shigeo Shingo. And Shigeo said, "Improvement usually means doing something that we have never done before." Also, I was on Twitter yesterday and I randomly saw a quote by the Pope, and I don't have it up, in all here with me, but basically he said that all athletes who win are glorified and thought of as the ones for to get all the spotlight. However, athletes are not, great athletes aren't made without losing. And so, that's part of it. It's losing is part of growing. And so you have to accept that and move on. So yeah, fail fast, fail hard, and then come back stronger. So yeah, Shigeo said, "Improvement usually means doing something that we have never done before." So that's a really great quote. Thanks again for listening. And as always, keep improving your tennis game, and I will see you next time.